You're listening to DraftKings Network.
School is back, and Dick's Sporting Goods has what you need to win your year. We've got everything from cleats to Sambas, dunks, and more. Plus, the hottest looks from Nike, Jordan, and Adidas. Find your first day fits in-store or online at Dicks.com.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family-owned from the start. Same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB the CV. Copyright 2024. Proximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Chris Cody, are you excited about the Sueys? How do you feel about the Sueys? It's always a giant undertaking.
I thought you meant, am I excited for the Jaelen Phillips interview to air today because, that went so well last week for me. But, yes, I am excited for the Sueys. The Sueys, as our team has grown, I get a little more help now, so it's not – I'm kind of just like I get the final stuff and I do the cut down. So it's been made a little easier for me because of our large team. Thanks to Yeti, thanks to Rage Against Twitter, thanks to Ethan, thanks to Mike Malley.
Okay, we don't need an acceptance speech before we
just asked if you're excited.
Acceptance speech.
Right.
He won a Suey.
Just on the front end, I want to thank my helpers.
What are you, Santa?
I wish Santa should do that on Christmas
You'd
morning.
be a great Santa.
Santa does not thank his helpers enough, I'd say.
Come
all
on.
the work that those elves do, and Santa gets all the credit.
You ever heard Santa thank the elves, have you?
The elves are only famous because of Santa. The elves only have any notice in the public consciousness of any kind because Santa exists.
Well, the Keebler elves exist outside of Santa.
Yeah, they're not the gift givers. Nobody cares about those elves.
You hear that, Ethan? You don't matter.
Here's the thing about the Keebler elves. You know they're always going to deliver. Sometimes you get bad Christmas gifts. I dare you to find a bad Keebler cookie.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Lebatard Show. Do the Keebler elves always deliver? Yes or no? What are the categories we're doing today? Because we're going to be doing the Sueys all week. Stugotz said he had forgotten all about the Sueys.
Big categories today. We're coming out strong. It's kind of like the Oscars. You start with big categories. You finish with big categories. We are doing best dismissal and best limited fake today.
I'm scared of the Sueys. I would say I had a bad year.
Honestly, being in this chair, my head's been spinning this year as well. I didn't have high hopes for these Sueys. The Sueys have made me feel better about the product that we've put out the last year.
Really?
Just listening
They
to
have
them,
a way
wow,
of doing that.
We had some funny things.
Yeah.
For me, this year has just been, my head's just been spinning.
What are you nervous about? Worst mistake? I mean,
No, just, well,
in general, the quality.
I've had a rough 2 years, just in general everywhere, and it is shown in my work.
Previous years, I've had plenty of musical contributions. This year, a light year for me. So today's day is my day. Wow. This is the opportunity for limited fake Pierce Brosnan to be recognized by the Academy.
Yes. Mike is always strong in limited fake. I would say dismissal, usually a Stugotz category. Billy Gil brings it this year in dismissal.
Awesome.
I don't want to oversell it, but strong year for Billy in dismissal. You dismissed a lot of people this year.
That's not.
No, it's always good.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Keep it up.
Mike,
No.
in terms of putting the town on alert, did you do so this weekend? All in college football, all the dogs covered. All of them.
We kicked off a new weekly segment called Put the Town on Alert, and we put FSU on Upset Alert, and that one cashed, boys.
But all of them.
Town on alert.
All of them cashed. All the underdogs cashed, Stugotz. Why? Because nobody knows shit. That's why.
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugotz Podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I would say that Roy genuinely and generally struggles with public shows of joy. Princess Claire will bring joy out of him. Large amounts of alcohol will bring joy out of him.
The Panthers hoisting the cup.
It brought
some joy.
It thawed some of the stoicism. I wouldn't call that joy.
I expected more. You're right. Yeah.
But I imagine that after winning in Key West, a championship weekend of weirdly fishing and barbecue, after winning the combination of things and being a champion in what I imagine was a very competitive thing, people take their fishing very seriously in Key West. So I don't know how many people were competing in this thing, but Roy, you won the whole damn thing. How much of an upset is that?
We beat legitimate Hall of Famers on the barbecue side, definitely. Guys like Tuffy Stone and Mo Kason, like the biggest names in barbecue over the last 20 years.
Well, what does that mean? What
Right.
the barbecue Hall
Yeah.
of Fame or Hall of Famers of this tournament?
Barbecue Hall of Fame.
Where's that?
I don't know what a barbecue Hall of Fame is. It could be anywhere in this country. I don't know.
Next to the Hot Dog Hall of Fame that
Yeah.
Gil's in?
Somewhere
Yeah.
in the South, I would imagine. I'm just,
Yeah, but beating those guys.
You beat Tuffy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, that's humbling right there.
But is Tuffy still bringing his A game, or is it like Tuffy downside of Tuffy's Hall
he's
of
bringing
Fame
his A
career?
game. His team actually won an award.
Wow.
A Cheeseburger in Paradise Award. They actually won. So,
At this tournament?
Yeah.
So this is barbecue, fishing, and cheeseburgers.
They didn't make cheeseburgers. They named it Cheeseburger in Paradise after Jimmy Buffett. But yeah, he won.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Can you be competing still in barbecue competitions if you're in the Hall of Fame? I feel like once you accept the Hall of Fame, award,
is there
you should
an
be
actual
removing
Hall
yourself.
of Fame?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So where is that? And and Billy, it seems to me like you're undermining everybody here because I don't think there's a Hall of Fame, and you're undercutting Roy's joy.
It's in Kansas City.
We can visit it next week, Billy. How about that? Yeah. I mean,
go see Tuffy's bust or bronze ribs or whatever.
Yeah.
Roy is not lying. Tuffy was inducted in 2018.
Why would Roy lie?
First ballot,
I'm just verifying. I'm not saying he was
first
lying.
ballot guy.
That's a good question.
Right, Tuffy?
It kind of feels like you're trying to diminish Roy's achievement.
Yeah, that's what
here
you guys
by-
usually do.
By being
Yeah.
sarcastic around it and doing bit. Like, this is a monumental achievement.
No,
he
Mike.
went to he just dipped his toe in the barbecue competition waters, and he came out a champion over Tuffy.
I know. I think what we're thinking is whether or not Tuffy is Hall of Fame worthy.
No,
I
I wouldn't.
I mean,
I think the most important thing is how much money they raise for pediatric cancer.
No, the most important thing is winning.
I want to know on the pie chart, though, how much Meat Dave did and how much Roy did. Were you the sous chef? What was going on here?
Well, the team was Dave Williamson, comedian. He has his own
Meet Dave.
barbecue podcast, Meet Dave. And
He's
Jody
looking good
Flanagan.
in that upper body.
Yeah, man, he's been
starting to
lifting.
lift.
He's been lifting.
He's always been thick.
Yeah, but no,
he's
now
a
he's got
hoss, man.
definition. He's got like
Well, he's opening for Kreischer. That always helps too.
yeah, he's got a little bit of like a meat bone definition about him. Like those lats are starting to poke out a little bit. Tank tops look good on
thick
Dave.
like De Niro.
Yeah, Jody Flanagan was also on the team. He's an actual
wow.
pit master. Me and Jessica were also on the team, so we did our own individual thing. Me, Jody, and Dave did the meets, and I mean, we're champions, man. Like,
And how many fishing champions were there? Because like you're dealing with the barbecue Hall of Famers, and the fishing they take super seriously there.
oh yeah, absolutely. Like we caught a whole bunch of fish. I caught 9 myself. A whole bunch of snapper. I caught a lemon shark. The entire team caught 2 sharks. Topping and a permit fish. Those are big fish right there. So yeah.
Nice. Did you get seasick?
No. Jody did. He got seasick. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, open water fishing's no joke, especially out there in the Keys.
Oh, and seasickness is the worst. Like it is such a bad feeling.
Well, it's not the worst. The cause that they were trying to, raise money against is probably the worst.
Actually, the legitimate thing is they got drunk the night before, and that probably didn't help.
That's how it
Poor.
happens.
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Was Meathead Goldwyn there?
I did not see him. No. No. 16 lobsters we caught on Saturday as well.
He really boxed you in there. I mean,
Well, it's just an asshole move. It's just a total asshole move.
He's
Like
right,
I already
though. I mean,
did the dangerous pediatric cancer joke by saying winning the barbecue fishing competition was more important than raising money for it, and then he just boxed me in with assholeness. Like just
reminding
it
the
was just
audience
the
of-
smell of asshole that
That's
just
what you were
cornered
doing,
me.
huh?
Doing
yeah.
this for a
Joke
good
and
cause.
poor
yeah.
taste.
Yeah, that's not something.
Service
I'm here
to
to
the
support
audience.
Roy.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him because I too am made joyful whenever Roy experiences mass levels of joy. I'd say that his character has softened quite a bit in recent years. But yes, anytime that he shows immense joy like he did over the last weekend, I think that's cause for celebration. And the fact that he held his own, a part of a team that went up against Hall of Famers, Roy, look at me in my eyes. Sincerely proud of you. And I wish I had some of that barbecue.
So how did the overall winner work? It was a combo of like the fishing and the barbecue?
Yes, sir. All the points together.
Now,
That's how we won overall.
Was Jessica a judge?
No, she was a part of the cook team.
That would have been unfair.
Yeah.
2 champions amongst
Inside
us.
job.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought the trophy.
She was a part of the cook team?
Yes, she was part of the cook
So
team.
she wasn't fishing?
No, she didn't fish. No, she was just a part of the cook
She
team.
posted the picture that Halliburton posted, though, as if she did nothing. Because, Halliburton was like, won a gold medal with, the group project, got an A, didn't do anything. I think she was.
Well, no,
that
she
person.
did everything that we asked her to do. So, yeah, she was a part of the team.
Well, I mean, seems like you just sent her to the kitchen, which is just really poor optics.
I mean, I don't know what Bane would say, but yeah, I guess so.
Congratulations, Roy. Hold up your trophy proudly there. I hope the fish were bigger than that trophy.
It's a
They
terrible
didn't hold back.
trophy.
They didn't really hold back on the trophy, did they?
Jesus.
Grand
What
champion.
kind of budgets are they
I guess
working with?
Tuffy got an appearance fee. That's
Well,
what.
the
That's what
money
I'm-
goes to cancer. Guys.
No, actually, no. There was a bigger trophy, actually.
For losers?
No.
We showed a picture of
For
it.
cancer, Billy.
No, but that's like a traveling trophy.
Yeah, this
Cancer got a trophy. Cancer, but we're going to give him a trophy
No,
instead.
There's a
this
bigger one. There was
individual.
one with a fish head on it that I saw.
Exactly. There was one with a fish head on it and 3 lobsters on top of it.
Oh, what's that? That's the cheeseburger award?
Yeah, that's the overall award. Right
So it's like the
Well,
Stanley
you
Cup.
just
it
said you
says.
won the
Yeah,
overall
yes,
award, didn't you?
Huh? Say again?
Didn't you win the overall award?
Yeah, but he
The
doesn't get to
entire
keep the
team.
trophy.
Yeah.
Like he
Meet
gets a
Dave
plaque.
gets that.
Barbecue division, Billy. It's a combination barbecue, fishing, all
Wait,
of
no.
it.
So your team gets that award, and then you each get individual little plaques.
Yes, our names go on there, yeah.
Wow.
The event runners keep the trophy.
Like the cup.
Congratulations, Roy. We are genuinely happy for you because you did look like you were having just the time of your life this week.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw something this weekend that I don't know if the rest of you saw it, and we'll get to the events of this weekend because there's a lot to talk about. But we did want to celebrate Roy's joy with him. And it's a fun trip for him and Jessica to have made. Super sunshine in paradise. Like it looked like a lovely weekend.
It was raining.
Thank you for sharing.
Guy
Doesn't stop.
Fieri's
It doesn't stop.
Guy Fieri's in the Barbecue Hall of Fame, 2012.
Wow. Deserving. First ballot guy. Has to be, right?
Barbecue?
So's Henry Ford.
Guy Fieri? Barbecue? I think Guy Fieri maybe is a cook. I don't think of him as a barbecue Hall of Famer.
Well, Henry Ford invented cars or whatever, so I don't know why he's in there.
He's a part of helping make charcoal, I believe.
Guy Fieri?
No, Henry Ford.
The thing that
He invented charcoal?
He and the guy from the
Sorry.
Kingsford brand, they kind of helped.
Well, that
We've
makes sense.
done this so many times, like ridiculous how easy it was to invent things back in the day. Nobody knew anything.
The thing that I saw this weekend that made me laugh the most, though, involved Chris Cody, and I don't know if the group knows what it is that I was laughing about.
Christ, man, after last week, we're just going to start right here. Okay.
Well, we've
We
got
started already.
as well as with the Sueys today, we've got some Dolphin interviews from camp. We're going to be doing that all week. We're going to finally air all week all of the interviews where you can watch how uncomfortable Chris looks being right in the face of a bunch of giant people and uncomfortably close to them. But what I saw happen this weekend that made me laugh is we went, I'm not going to say viral, but we got aggregated last week on a couple of things. I don't even remember what it is that they were, but the thing that was delighting me is that other entities on YouTube turned the aggregate stuff into their own content. So it might be me and Amin talking about X, but on the screen with no explanation, large as can be, is Chris Cody playing with his drawstrings. And everything that's being talked about, there's no explanation. They're referencing the commentary that's in the lower right-hand corner of me and somebody talking about something, but giant on the screen is Chris Cody, large as can be, large and in charge while playing with his drawstrings, and there's no explanation for why it is. He's 10 times larger than the people talking about the content that was being devoured.
We're back.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. If you're like me, you're constantly thinking about the safety of the people and things you value most. After a friend told me about a break-in in his home in which many of his most valuable possessions were stolen, I knew I needed to secure my home with the best. I've trusted Simply Safe to protect my home for 6 years now, and the level of security and customer care has been incredible. I sleep better every night knowing Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring agents are standing by to protect me and my home. They'll also send emergency help when I need it most. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partner with Simply Safe to offer listeners 20% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. What I love most is that Simply Safe just keeps getting better. Protect your home this summer with 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Don Le Batard.
All of us who were watching college football elevated everything the weekend was because we missed football in general so very much.
You didn't watch the ending of UTEP Jacksonville State. It was awesome.
A doozy.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Stugotz.
It's such a lane for you. Just everything in college football is awesome. Any single thing that happens, she gets deliriously happy about.
Don't you miss viewing sports through that prism, though? Like, I'm envious of Lucy. Like, I wish that I could still be happy.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
The college football that greeted us this weekend, Stugotz, the funny micro part of it is legitimately funny what happens on first drive sometimes when you have an entire offseason to prepare for an opponent. Like both teams with their scripted plays went right up and down the field on each other, and then the rest of the game, FSU couldn't run the football at all.
After that first drive, I was convinced that Florida State was the best team in the country.
Yes, that happened this weekend with a lot of people, and I thought that the coolest part of this weekend, Stugotz, because so much of sports is filled with yelling and blame and arguing, and sometimes, the great moments in sports transport us and we enjoy them together. But it's really rare for sports to just arrive and everyone's hugely grateful, as if they've been dying missing something. You do not get what happened with the return of football, even the collegiate form, even though there was one game of importance this weekend, and everything else was just betting action. I think there are 31 games on Thursday night, 31 Division I games on Thursday night. But the return of football came with so much public gratitude that it caught me off guard a little bit, even though I know people love football, but I think of it as pro football. And what's happened is the expansion of the weekend. No, you guys like the escape of all of it. It's no longer just Sundays. You were happy that football was back in any form, that it started at noon, that game day was back, that McAfee was getting drunk in Ireland and making it look like a huge fun party, as it should feel like a huge party. And it just seems rare in this day and age to see just simple gratitude, the way the poets talk about baseball when they're Kirkchen's age, but this being like all over the place, people just really excited and positive on social media for the return of something.
In this country, it might be antiquated thought because it's commonly referred to as the four major sports. They say pro football, pro basketball, pro baseball, pro hockey. I don't think that's exactly accurate, and I'll tell you why. I think college football is quite easily the second biggest sport in this country next to pro football. And you don't necessarily get to fully experience that because while you're still basking in the glory of your Saturday, here comes Sunday to knock it out of the headlines. But if it were on a different part of the calendar, we'd be a country that would be kind of divided. What's bigger? What's better? And the numbers, I think, kind of back this up. It's the second biggest sport in the United States.
This weekend coming up is such a great weekend, though, because you don't have the NFL. They're not back until the following week. So you have games starting on Thursday and ending on Monday. Like, it's a great weekend for college football. I will say this. We need to start college football in the United States. I don't like this. Like, Dublin has – Dan, I am serious about this, okay? Start your season in the United States, end your season in the United States. I don't want to hear about it. Dublin does not deserve to get college football's opener. Okay, they don't. And baseball, same thing. I don't want the season to start in China, end in the United States. I want it to start here, end here. Japan, wherever they're playing games. I don't want it. There are sports. Why are we giving the start of our seasons away to different countries? Why? Explain it to me.
You're yearning and longing for FSU Georgia Tech?
You know what? I'm yearning for a college game day that takes place in a place where they're comfortable. That's all. Like, to me, that starts the college football season, and those guys were out in unfamiliar territory.
That was a home game for the punter,
McAfee
right?
didn't look comfortable to you.
No, he did there. He did on his show. He was having a great time, McAfee. He was getting hammered. Like, that looked fun. But college game day did not to me. It didn't have energy. I mean, those guys are tired. I don't blame them.
I agree with you. College game day left something to be desired, and I think you can have your theories. It's not like there weren't FSU fans there giving Kirk Herbstreit the business, but you could say, hey, you would get the best atmosphere right in front of the stadium. That's when you maximize the people. And maybe, just maybe, this is a theory that they decided, knowing Kirk's relationship with the FSU fan base, let's kind of pull that back a little bit. Let's go for a great sweeping vista as opposed to the energy.
You don't think this is the power of Saban? Just like his energy? It's going to be toned down now. We're going to be serious. I don't know, because he's not like a guy.
The energy out
he's
of
like
it.
the opposite of Pat. I'm interested to hear what he says,
right.
But he's the opposite of Pat McAfee in terms of just looking energetic.
He got high marks for what he was doing. I
saw some clips I liked.
Yeah, I enjoyed his perspective. I did take issue with one segment where they let Nick Saban speak for this upcoming NCAA ruling. I say that in air quotes because you have a collectively bargained thing that's not collectively bargained. And he's just carrying water for the NCAA because he was brought in by Ted Cruz to speak on the merits of, kind of bringing this back to the way that it was. And there wasn't a single dissenting voice on the dais. Keep in mind, I don't know how that got aggregated for me because I tweeted my thoughts on it. I guess because Ted Cruz was included in my tweet, people thought it was political. No, I'm just stating the fact. If you don't know that Nick Saban spoke to Congress as an invited guest about Ted Cruz, I'm not taking a political stance. I'm just showing you whose side he is very clearly on. And for this one major show that aspires to objectivity, for them to not have a dissenting voice and everyone kind of nod along with what the NCAA is trying to do, kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Give Saban a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I guarantee you before the season's over, his shirt is off.
That's what we need. Because he was giving off the vibes. You know what his office used to look like at Alabama? That's the vibes that he gives off. Yeah. Have you seen what the new coach's office looks like? It's like completely transformed. It's just like that's what I was feeling. Like I liked his content, but there's just something about Saban. It just gives off like brown wood.
Yeah, but they put him right next to McAfee, who doesn't give that off.
Yeah. Right.
And
but he does. No, but he gives it off after 30 Guinnesses. Come on. 30 Guinnesses will make you, and even someone with his stamina is going to have a hard time after 30 Guinnesses getting up on the following day.
I could see Saban, he's torn. You could see it, like he's processing because he said it himself. I have ripped analysts for preseason predictions, for all that stuff, and now I'm being asked to do it, and I don't want to do it. Eventually, 3 weeks from now, he's going to have to do it.
I saw this funny clip of just Pat McAfee at one point inexplicably barking, and you just see Saban just kind of like jarred by it and like looks to his left like, whoa, this guy's barking.
8-9 weeks, he's going to be barking right along with us.
Saban is still being calculated, saying that he's providing Alabama with reverse rat poison.
Miss Terry was also there, so Nick had to be on his best behavior. Like, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
I've got a number of things that I want to follow up on. First of all, Guinnesses have a higher alcohol content, do they not? Are they not like Labatt's, where Guinness has it's a heavier beer?
I can tell you what they have: more calories and worse taste.
But it's a darker. It's not. Is it not a larger alcohol content?
I'm saying it's only 4.2, which is a little above light beers like the fantastic Miller Lite.
The thing that Roy said earlier, saying that the Barbecue Hall of Famers that he beat, it was humbling to beat them. Can someone explain to me how it is that humbling is used there? Because I see it all the time in speeches used as humbling, and I think it's the opposite of humbling. I think you become even more grandiose when you feel like you've knocked off Hall of Famers to become a champion.
The Hall of Famers should be humbled.
I don't really understand and have never understood to be humbled by something that is an act that would bring you achievement and ego.
Well, I've been watching this show, Barbecue Pitmasters, for a very long time, and like that show is like 20 years old, man. And this is my second barbecue competition, so like the defeat these guys, like Like
that's prodigious. You're just your second competition, and you're beating the likes of Tuffy.
I think it's keeping perspective, Dan. What they're trying to convey when someone wins something and they say they're humbled, they're just saying, I have perspective about this. Like, I'm not going to get above my britches here. Did I say that right? I'm going to stay humble.
Why would you be above your britches?
I don't know.
You get too big for them, but I don't think you ever get above them.
You can't be above them, though.
I knew I had something cooking.
You knew
there
were britches.
Something in the oven there that I.
A
it
slow
ended up
roast.
being a little
You
runny.
almost got it.
Baking the britches.
A few more minutes it needed in the oven.
Was Honey Monk there, Roy?
No, Honey Monk was not there. No.
When you mention, though, Nick Saban and the rules, the fact that he is without rebuttal going out there and just giving you the 78-year-old viewpoint of the former dictator coach, when the Miami of Ohio coach just says flatly, Alabama stole our kicker, the Lou Grosso Award winner, just says it flatly. Now, he says, we didn't lose our kicker. No, I know where he is. We had him stolen by Alabama. What rules are we following? Like, what? I'm dead serious about this. I thought about this with Dion, because Dion is, again, into it with the media, and I was actually thinking, if the media really wanted to, I wonder what the damage would be if the media got together in Colorado and said, we're not covering you anymore. Like, this isn't the way that we're going to do this. We're going to boycott the coverage of you. I don't know if the media actually has any ground to stand on with him. I've heard Rob Parker and some others suggest this as, in defense of the media, but I don't think Dion at this point needs the local media in any way. I think he's playing a bigger game there. But when I see his assistant coach going to Saudi Arabia for NIL money, what rules are we following exactly?
Well, I think it tells you what a bad investment NIL might be for the Saudis to be like, I don't really see the return in this. What are we doing? No. This is.
We found the thing that they're like, you know what?
This is one thing that they're like, this is reckless spending for sports. I don't think we're going to do this. What do we get from this? We get to say we're good? We don't have any ties to this. This is ridiculous. I don't need that network. I'm a sheik.
Do you think Alabama really had to steal the Miami of Ohio's kicker? Like, you're making it seem like the Miami of Ohio kicker went against his will.
They're a kicker away.
You're at Miami of Ohio.
Historically, kicker has always been kind of like the Achilles heel.
Right.
I am not making the accusation. The Miami of Ohio coach is making the accusation.
Straight up on video, Stugotz. He said they just straight up stole my kick.
No, I understand that, but they didn't steal anything. He was playing for Miami of Ohio when Nick Saban came calling, and that's that.
Well, no, Stugotz, though, the thing I'm asking, though, is about rules. Like,
there are no rules.
What rules are we following?
They are following.
He nailed it.
They are following rules.
You.
It's the NCAA likes to pretend like there aren't rules. Everybody still has to submit to the NCAA's rules. They're just not, they don't like the rules. They're allowing them to be, and what they're seeking from Congress is to, hey, just put us totally in charge. Don't have any checks and balances. We know what the rules should be, even though in the courts we're 0 for 24 challenging them.
Is the NCAA basically like a substitute teacher right now?
Toothless.
Like, they're like the authority, but also like, if you don't respect them, because, like, they don't even control the college football playoff anymore.
Right.
So, like, what are they going to do?
They haven't. That's a sneaky little thing. Like, they haven't. And people really should dig into how much influence ESPN has over this stuff, because it started bubbling up to the surface with FSU. And ESPN gets to play a plausible deniability game because it's not the ESPN CFP. Yes, it is. Yeah, it absolutely is. But I do think that you should have dissenting voices and have a nuanced conversation. Maybe that wasn't the place for it, because Nick Saban did bring up points. There are points from this proposal that I think are really good. But also, I'm not for collective bargaining agreements that aren't collectively bargained. Who's the rep for the students? Do they have a union? This thing is just moving along, and it's going to get to the point where they just get rubber stamped by Congress, and now you've given total control of NIL to an entity that at every turn has tried to undo NIL.
Billy, I don't think the substitute teacher has the power to take a game from Kirk Ferentz. I think that there's still some power there. I just don't know. I don't feel like anyone listening to this knows what any of the rules are.
Compliance officers, schools still have to follow them, Dan. The NCAA still is in charge. They're just not getting what they want out of it because they're losing in court. So they want to stop being able to lose in court by just being granted safe harbor status. That's what they're looking for. Now, there's great ideas in their plan to fund non-revenue sports, and any plan that goes forward needs that. But you also need to kind of collectively bargain it with the revenue generators, the football players, the basketball players, and that's not happening.
I feel like if Iowa really wanted to fight for Kirk Ferentz, they could, right? But like this is also like, what will we look like without him coaching?
Mm-hmm.
The same. They'll just punt.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Mean,
he's always there.
Air raid. You got Iowa being an air raid.
Come on. All of a sudden, it's going to break out. It's going to be 6 wide receivers running in all directions.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-new Prologue EV, there's a lot that can impress you about it. There's the class-leading passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
Don Le Batard.
This is largely performative, but we need to establish at least some reasonable doubt. Yes, exactly.
I'm so done. Peace stories and Stugotz had to top everyone with a space story where he pays more than you do.
Stugotz.
I always like leaving Dan on time because he's so vulnerable. I just unfairly fade down the chickens to just leave him by himself.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Chris Cody, at the end of this segment, we're going to go out to Dolphin camp again, as we are every day this week in the local hour, to give Miamians some of the voices and players that they care about headed into football season. What do you know about the Jaelen Phillips interview that we're about to play here at the end of this segment?
I know that he was wearing short shorts in it. I know that at some point him and I discussed that. I know that we talk a lot about his injury, and we talk about his family, his support system, all his rocks. And it was really good. He's another one that there wasn't one that I walked out of being like, this was bad. He was good.
Okay, so we will get to that in a second. One of the things that I'm always amazed by, Stugotz, as athletes continue to get bigger, stronger, and faster, is a person like this, when you sit next to them, you're just sort of floored by the size and the scope of the athleticism. I know we like to criticize athletics because we played in high school, or we have opinions about that feel like sometimes professional sports, we cover it as if it's Little League. But the amount of time and effort and science being put into making these people giant machines, Stugotz. When I talk to baseball people, for example, my age of guys playing cards in the clubhouse, that's gone. Guys are working on their adductors. They're getting eye tests. Like, it's all science, and the intensity of it is nuts. Like, these guys are not going out drinking every night when they got a 162-game season in baseball. Like, what's happening now in the clubhouse is just a meticulous, obsessive science of crazy. And in football, where the bodies break, these people are so large as to not be believed that the athleticism can be contained in those bodies. So I want to show you a clip here of something, and I know Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, as obvious by watching him on television, has not taken care of himself since retiring. Like, he's not he's not in the greatest of shape. He's not.
It's not nice.
Well, watch this clip and watch him lose to Aaron Donald in a race, a former NFL running back, and watch the size and speed of Aaron Donald and how tired he's not because he just finished with football, and how tired LaShawn McCoy is because he's a couple of years removed from football and is no longer a running back. Like, it's crazy to think of Aaron Donald, someone that size, beating LaShawn McCoy in a foot race.
Yeah, but have that race like a year after LaShawn McCoy retires and see what happens. I mean, he dust him.
This is a defensive tackle. Yeah. It's just, I have a harder time just reconciling with Aaron Donald not playing pro football this season.
Yeah.
He's still so good that I can't believe that he won't be dressing up at the end of the year and realize that he misses it some. He's so good, and he could be good for like 5 more years, like top guy in the league good.
I heard Howie Long talking about Bo Jackson and how Bo Jackson just sort of parachuted out of the sky because he was playing baseball and then just started carrying a football in a football game. If Aaron Donald wants to join a contender because he's bored toward the end of the season, Like, I'm thinking a whole lot of people are going to want Aaron Donald on their team, and he wouldn't have to do training camp or any of the other stuff. And I imagine that he's got. I don't know if his physical freakness is something that he would want to work out the way he would have to over the next 8 weeks, but why couldn't Aaron Donald come back and have a feeding frenzy over whether or not to sign him?
I don't know how much time was left on his contract. The Rams could still very well have his rights, and if he were to come back, he'd have to either come to some sort of agreement if it wasn't with the Rams, or he could just easily microwave that deal up. We've seen it with pass rushers, even though he's a unique pass rusher because he's a defensive tackle. He's a nose tackle doing unprecedented things at that position, not really since Warren Sapp. But that's one of those positions that we've seen dating back as young as I could remember. Charles Haley getting a call like in the wintertime, hey, we need a pass rusher. Are you available? Like, those guys are just so unique. Julius Peppers was another way around it. Like, we see Clowney's kind of been in this cycle recently. Like, hey, you're a mercenary pass rusher. We'll get you. You don't have to do any of the camp stuff. Don't worry. You have a skill that no one else has, really.
We'll get to the Jaelen Phillips interview in a second, Stugotz, but let me just play a clip for the audience.
I believe if Aaron Donald does come back, he would have to play for the Rams. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're contending late in the season if he wants to make a little run.
If he's bored and wants to make it back, it would be fun to watch. But the size of Jaelen Phillips, the speed of Jaelen Phillips is obviously how many Jaelens do the Dolphins have? Is it 4, 5? They've got an assortment of Jaelens.
No one who has thighs like this, though. I mean,
here's Jaelen Phillips just talking about when he was injured, because it's so hard, Stugotz, when your body betrays you and your body is the thing that supports the entire economy around you. It can be heartbreaking, but I was surprised to see and hear how positive he was immediately after what has been a wreck of an injury for a lot of guys.
What would you describe as the worst of it, where you got doubt and heartbreak because you've climbed all the way back from something? Never mind that it's a death sentence, just you rely on your body for your living. So when it betrays you, you're never expecting it. You guys all feel bulletproof, even though what you're doing is dangerous.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I think the most devastating part was when it initially happened. But pretty quickly after that, I just knew that if I didn't have the right mindset, then it could swallow me up and I could really get in a negative headspace. And so literally 20 minutes after it happened, when I got into the shower by myself, I'm just sitting there, and I just had a moment I remember distinctly where I literally just thank God. I said thank you for this opportunity, because it's going to make me stronger at the end of the day. And so I know I'll get over it. I know it'll take some time. It'll be frustrating, but ultimately I do feel like it's all a part of the plan. And what's a good story without a little drama? So
20 minutes afterward, 20 minutes afterward, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you're conscious about adjusting your mindset.
Yeah, I had to, because at the end of the day, I'm the only person who can control my mindset, right? Everybody can be around me trying to lift me up and trying to be positive for me, but at the end of the day, if I'm not positive with myself and I don't have, a positive mindset, then I'm not going to be able to heal properly. I'm not going to be in that right headspace. So, I pretty much instantly, and thankfully, I dealt with some injury and adversity before, so this time around, I felt ready for it.
He just kind of touched on the injury and adversity before. That guy sitting there, a specimen coming off an Achilles injury, he just kind of glossed over. He almost medically retired at UCLA because his injuries were so bad. When that injury happened against the Jets, I was watching thinking, there's a genuine shot this is the last time we ever see Jaelen Phillips on a field because of all the other injuries that he's had to overcome. And I don't know, I'm not a Dolphin fan. Is he not even starting the season on the PUP list? He's ready to go?
He thinks he's going to be ready for game one.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is nuts. Chris, how did you feel about how you looked there? You weren't too close to him. You
calm, cool, collected.
It was awkward, but not as awkward as some of what it is we had fun with last week. It was still awkward.
That was the first one we did, I believe, too. But I think Tua just made me nervous. I think the rest of them you're going to see smooth sailing.
I think with each passing one, you got a little bit closer until we got to Tua, and then you were sitting on him. I mean,
where did Tua rank? Where was he on the timeline of the interviews for that day? Oh,
yeah.
So you were cool, and then you got to Tua, and then you got nervous.
The rare,
yeah.
It's Tua though.
It's
Everyone
a quarterback. It's QB1.
Right.
Yeah. Look at that smile. I'd cower.
Billy, you said earlier that you and Stugotz are going to be in Kansas City next week. What is God Bless Football going to be doing in Kansas City next week?
Oh, we're going to be there. I don't know if you heard, Dan. NFL season kicks off next week.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Ravens. We're going to be there. We're going to be covering it. Part of DraftKings coverage that day. We're going to be there. Come check us out. I believe, I don't know if I should say this, I believe we're going to be in the parking lot live covering, all things football that day. We're going to be there. We're going to record our episode. Gojo and Golic are going to be there also. And then there's going to be a 3-hour, I don't know if I should say any of this, there's going to be a 3-hour pregame show that's going to be going on. It's going to feature a lot of people out there. We're going to be part of that.
Why shouldn't you be saying that?
Well, I don't know what's out and what's not out. Exactly right. Yeah.
Well, but you're the one who volunteered you were going to be in Kansas City. No.
I said that?
You said it in the first segment
No,
today.
I said the Barbecue Hall of Fame's in Kansas City.
No, you said you were going to be in Kansas City.
No, I said we could check it out. Yeah.
When you say there's a bunch of people for this pregame show, can you give us any teasers?
No, the who's who of the what's what.
All right.
Yep. Well said.
All right, good promotion as always. God bless football, a rollicking joyride. You should check it out when it gets to Kansas City. Details pending.
Really proud of us for talking about the Florida State-Georgia Tech game and not mentioning once that Florida State lost that game, really. We didn't harp on it at all. Number 10 ranked FSU that spent the entire offseason.
It doesn't matter anymore. You can lose whenever you want. It doesn't make a difference.
Spent the entire offseason complaining about what was owed to them, and they come out and they lose to Brent Key's Ramblin' Wreck.
But Billy is so right. That's one of the things that has changed. You can no longer say, and I said it anyway, if you're going to lose early. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Lose whenever the hell you want. Just don't lose more than twice.
Exactly. Big Ten and SEC must be looking at themselves like, man, we got to get our hands on that team.
If you're Alabama, you can lose 4 times and still get in. It doesn't make a difference.
That's true. I continued my ACC scout to Reno, Nevada, to see how SMU would treat their first game as a member of the ACC, and that one was a little touch and go. Not great.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Was McAfee a ramblin' wreck? That was a lot of fun, that football game, and I will tell you again, I am truly amazed at what happens when you have an off-season of preparation for your first drive. Because Florida State ran the ball in a way that I'm like, oh, what everyone was saying, yeah, their offensive line is too big. It's going to be too big, and that's what the analysis was of everyone but Seamus.
Seamus killed it. Killed it as I think Saban co-signed on the notion that FSU had the best defensive line unit in the nation.
And they run the ball so easily on the first drive. I didn't look at the final numbers, but I'm guessing if you take the first drive out in terms of rushing attempts, that Florida State probably had fewer than 2 yards a carry in that game.
Couple glaring issues. Their quarterback doesn't seem to want to throw the ball downfield, and when he does so inaccurately.
It was so dink and dunk. But let's get now, without further ado, Stugotz, to this Dolphin camp interview with Jaelen Phillips.
Do you judge me because I'm complaining about sweating when I'm walking from my car to, I walked 50 yards.
No judgment here.
It's the worst 50 yards of my life.
We're with Jaelen Phillips. We've started moments ago. I didn't know that he had, that one of the tribulations is sweaty socks and feet. I would have thought of all the thousands of things out there that are unpleasant to practice in, I wouldn't have thought that would have made the list.
That's probably the number one tribulation, to be honest. Wow. That's the worst part about it, especially when it starts raining out here and then your whole socks and shoes are wet and then it dries up and then you just got to run and you're squishing every step and it's brutal.
It's nice to see you back healthy and happy. Last time that we had spoken to you, moments later, you had the injury and then we're watching you crying on Hard Knocks and we all felt for you because of how awful that seemed. So you're feeling good now? You're expected to be out there as soon as they start, which is ahead of schedule, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, when I started, they basically told me it's anywhere between 9 and 12 months. And then some people, I think Cam Akers had like a 5-month recovery, right? So, as years have gone by, like the technology and everything has gotten a lot better. And so the timelines have shortened over time. I mean, I was talking to Dan and stuff back in his day. It's almost like a death sentence. And so at this point, they kind of told me anywhere between 9 to 12. And so for me, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at.
Did you just drop a casual talking to Dan reference?
Yeah,
Dan Marino?
Uncle Dan.
Right. Yeah.
What would you describe as the worst of it, where you got doubt and heartbreak because you've climbed all the way back from something? Never mind that it's a death sentence, just you rely on your body for your living. So when it betrays you, you're never expecting it. You guys all feel bulletproof, even though what you're doing is dangerous.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I think the most devastating part was when it initially happened. But pretty quickly after that, I just knew that if I didn't have the right mindset, then it could swallow me up and I could really get in a negative headspace. And so literally 20 minutes after it happened, when I got into the shower by myself and just sitting there, and I just had a moment I remember distinctly where I literally just like thank God. I said thank you for this opportunity, because it's going to make me stronger at the end of the day. And so I know I'll get over it. I know it'll take some time. It'll be frustrating, but ultimately I do feel like it's all a part of the plan. And what's a good story without a little drama? So
20 minutes afterward, 20 minutes afterward, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you're conscious about adjusting your mindset.
Yeah, I had to, because at the end of the day, I'm the only person who can control my mindset, right? Everybody can be around me trying to lift me up and trying to be positive for me, but at the end of the day, if I'm not positive with myself and I don't have, a positive mindset, then I'm not going to be able to heal properly. I'm not going to be in that right headspace. So, I pretty much instantly, and thankfully, I dealt with some injury and adversity before, so this time around, I felt ready for it.
Where is it along the path that your strength has been tested so that you actually know how mentally strong you are beyond injuries, or is it just the teaching of the injuries?
I think my whole transition, going from UCLA to the U, and then, coming into the league, obviously, it was a big maturation phase for me, just moving all the way across from my family and kind of just having to bootstrap up and change my life around. I came into the U at 210 pounds and, kind of a shell of myself when it came to my self-confidence and my self-belief. And so slowly just gaining that back, feeling like myself again, and just going through that. I think that was the first time in my life that I truly went through, a time of big trials and errors, or trials and tribulations. And so ever since then, it's continuous, right? I'm still learning, and I'm still learning how to deal with things when they come along, but I definitely feel better suited for adversity when it comes around nowadays than I was, when I was 17, 18 years old. So injuries have played a part in that, but it's also just life. You guys know, going through things happen. So it's really about how you attack it afterwards and how you respond.
In those moments, do you lean on people? Who's there for you? Who are you going through this with? Who are you learning from?
Yeah, my family is my number one rock, my number one support system. My mom and my dad, they're great because my mom is really emotional, and her and I are super close. We talk for, hours almost every day. And then my dad is he's a lawyer, so he's very analytical, very logically thinking. And so he kind of gives me insight and perspective. And then my mom really is there for the emotional support piece. My sister, my grandfather, I have a really good tribe around me. And then obviously within the facility, within the building, I have, especially when it comes to injuries, an amazing training staff, amazing strength staff. The coaches, they all have respect for me, and they all have been pushing me along and supporting me, and then my teammates as well. So really anywhere I look, I have support.
Are those one collective rock, or are those separate rocks next to each other?
Sounds like mom's the rock.
Yeah.
Sounds like mom's the rock.
Mom's definitely a big rock, and then my dad is that supporting rock.
So there are multiple rocks. It's not just total
smaller rocks. But Mom, if you're talking to one with several hours a day, the others are ancillary rocks.
I might even call them.
Don't call us dad.
Yeah,
I'm saying the friends, the teammates are more like pebbles. Mom's a rock.
I said it first. He didn't hear me. Chris said it.
We'll say it's like a Jenga. We'll say it's like a Jenga structure.
There we go.
Because each one is important, right? And so it's my mom is probably the foundation, or maybe she's at the top, because then, in theory, if the pebbles and stuff underneath are out, then the whole thing falls over. So point being, I got a lot of rocks, in my family, and they do a great job for me.
You said hours a day. That has to be an exaggeration. You're not talking to your mother hours a day.
Maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, but there are days we talk for hours, for sure. But I'd say, we definitely try to talk every single day, whether it's talk or text. And when we get on the phone, it's at least an hour every time. So hours might have been an exaggeration, but
So explain to me where they are along your path on support, because the best part of these rides, right? You've told us before about how meaningful all of this is to you, doing it in Miami, being a part of the things that have happened to you in Miami. The best part of some of what it is you do is being able to share it with others who get the view. I imagine your parents didn't quite have the mindset 20 minutes after your injury that you did, because they were heartbroken for you, because they know how much you care about this.
Yeah, absolutely. They were all there too, my mom, dad, and sister, and they came down in the tunnel afterwards. And I think think they were just more concerned about me. Like, obviously they were disappointed. They don't get to see me anymore, and they love watching me, and they support everything that I do. But I think my mom especially was more so worried about how I was feeling. And I think me coming out of the locker room with a smile on my face, telling them this is going to be okay, I think that really eased their mind.
That's super unusual in your position. You know that, right? Like, most guys break down. The body is the economy for a lot of different things. People don't rebound as quickly as you do mentally. That's not normal. You know this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't want to, I'm not tooting my own horn because, frankly, I've had my ups and downs. I'm not going to act like I've been perfect through this whole time or anything, but I do think that my prior experiences and obviously the support system I have and what they've taught me since I was young, I think has really kind of molded me and adjusted. My dad, like I said, he's like the analytical one, so he's really helped me with mindset wise, just like not worrying about things that are out of my control. And with this Achilles, it happened, right? So I can't change it. I can't do anything about it. So at that point, it's my decision whether I cower or not cower, but whether I just wallow in self-misery or if I bootstrap up and really just attack it with a positive mindset. So that's what I chose to do.
When you were young, did you dream of being a musician or an athlete? What were you dreaming as a career?
First, I wanted to be a lawyer, like my dad. I wanted to go to Stanford and get an academic degree. I really didn't think about sport. I played sports. I played travel ball, baseball, football, a little bit of basketball here and there, but I didn't really start thinking about football as a career until I started getting offers in high school. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe I can actually do something with this. And then the music really came back into my life when I retired from UCLA and really thought I was done with football. So then I had to figure out what I was going to do with my life and figure out what my identity was outside of football. So that's when it kind of, became real for me in the music sense. And then, with football, kind of like I said, once I started getting offers, started having aspirations, okay, maybe, I'll go to big college and go to the NFL. And then especially after my senior year, ranked #1 in the nation, coming into UCLA, I kind of just assumed that, I'm going to continue on this linear path, go first round, do all that stuff. And so it was a shock. It was definitely kind of a big eye opener when things didn't go that way. But I think it was a blessing at the end of the day because it just made me so much more rooted in myself as a person outside of football and outside of what I do.
Chris and I are making faces over here because the choices. I mean,
certain kind of athlete that's like, I just got this D1 scholarship. Oh wait, I guess I'll consider football.
Well, not only that, professional athlete, and if that doesn't work out, lawyer. Yeah.
Real slacker.
My family is high achieving. My sister just graduated from Harvard Law. She's going to be working in a big firm in New York.
Smart rocks.
Yeah, smart rocks for sure. So yeah,
I thought it was dumb as rocks. I thought it was dumb as rocks, not smart rocks.
I just knew whatever I was going to do that I was going to be the best at it and always achieve to be more than average and try to do something great with my life.
Put us in the bathroom when you found the iguana in your toilet. Just put us
crazy way to start a sentence.
Put us in your bathroom. Close to you in your bathroom.
You said when I found the iguana?
Yeah.
So my girlfriend at the time had called me, and it was right after practice, and I think she texted me. She was like, "There's a lizard in the bathroom. I have to call an exterminator, this and that." And I'm like, "It can't be that bad, right?" She didn't send a picture or whatever. So I get home, and she was like, "It's in the bathroom," and she had put a towel underneath the door. And I'm like, "Still, it can't be that bad." I took a peek. I said, "Hell no, this is not for me." I'm kind of squeamish when it comes to reptiles and bugs and stuff like that. And so I saw him poking his little head up. Not little, he was kind of big. He was like this size. He wasn't biggest iguana in the world, but he was not small. And so he was chilling in that bathroom in the toilet, making it his home. I'm like, shit, he can have it. Honestly, I'm cool off this, but called the exterminator. He came through. He handled the business.
But what's the backstory? She gets to the toilet and is about to use it, and that's the worst nightmare scenario.
Oh my God. Snake would be worse, but
yeah, snake would be way worse for sure. No, I don't think she got caught using it. I think she just opened it, or maybe my cat was freaking out or something like that.
Sensed it, right?
I'm gonna hope it was my cat, because what is he worth other than that? If he's not sniffing out danger for me.
Squeamish around bugs. What are the bugs that we're most likely to walk into your house? You've seen one, and now this giant Yes, right up there, standing on a chair.
Scared me.
standing on a chair.
I was always an arachnophobe growing up, so I hated spiders.
Okay, that's what that is.
And then, after that, I just hate bugs in general. And Florida, has a surplus of bugs and animals of all sorts.
Right.
So I love animals. I love seeing all the animals outside, but not in my sanctuary.
From a distance,
not in my,
yes.
Exactly. I like to observe them, maybe not touch them or witness them up front.
But spiders, you're legitimately scared of spiders.
I think I've gotten over that a little bit now, but I used to definitely be screaming, have my mom or sister come get it for me, squeamish.
How about the flying cockroaches we have down here?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You enjoy
I didn't
those?
know about that, but thanks for unlocking a new fear. I wasn't worried about them now, but I am now. So thanks, Dan.
Thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the time with you, and we are really happy. It's been a pleasure to watch your work at both Miamis, and we're very happy that you're pass rushing again.
He's interested in being an audio engineer, Dan, and we have an internship available. I mean,
do you?
What do you think? Yes.
I think you guys right.
That's how Ryan Clark, Ryan Clark, while he was playing for the Steelers, now that was ESPN, it's not Metal Arc Media, but if you want to be an audio engineer, we're there for you.
Yeah, maybe this summer I'll hit you guys up. We'll do a little internship.
Summer internship. I like
it's
that.
not high achieving standard stuff. You're going to be a failure in your family. But
no, not a failure.
I'll have to tell my daughter she's not getting that internship.
My dad loves your show, so it wouldn't be a failure.
By the way, how did I do on the short shorts, by the way? What's your preference on the seam?
These are from Southern California.
What's your preference on the inch seam? What's your preference?
It's got to be 7 or less.
Yeah,
so I'm going with 7 to 5.
I knew you'd come correct, so I was like,
I don't want to be weird, but
these are like 3 to 5 inch right here.
He likes showing off the thighs. It's a lot of thighs.
Single family could live in those thighs right there. I mean, geez.
A family of German tourists can live in that thigh. Thank you, sir.
You got me blushing over here.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.